Good evening, everybody. Welcome to English Without Borders Thursday series of webinars. And as usual, we call this investment time. So this 1 hour time, teachers are going to devote into their professional development by learning something new from our speakers and also by interacting with each other and getting engaged with webinar speaker. And we are so excited to welcome all familiar and new faces. Those who are joining from Zoom, welcome. And those who are watching us on Facebook, please make sure that you have your good connection. And in case if you have any questions to EWB webinar speaker today, make sure to put it in the chat box or comment box on Facebook. So by the end of the presentation of our speaker, we'll make sure to, hello Zarrina, we'll make sure to pass your questions to our speaker today. And as usual, our speakers are coming from different parts of Tajikistan and also from beyond Tajikistan. But today we are having our special speaker today. Many of you probably met Zarrina Mirzo at EWB National Conferences if you had a chance to participate in the previous year conferences. And today Zarrina will be sharing her experience, and the title of her webinar today, Modern Content and Language, the complexity of integration of CLIL. So, and Zarrina holds a diploma in English language education from the Tajik International University of Foreign Languages, and she has over 14 years of experience. She has taught diverse learners, including adults and children with disabilities. She currently teaches with the Aviation Training Center Tajik Avia Navigation, and also the English Access Micro Scholarship Program, Tajikistan, at the National Union of People with Disabilities of Tajikistan and the UCA SPCE in Dushanbe. She's a committed lifelong learner, and last year, Zarrina Mirzo was named EWB Innovative Teacher of the Year for 2024 for her contribution to English language teaching, and as well to bringing innovative teachers into her classroom. And once again, let me welcome all of you to EWB Thursday webinars. And with great pleasure, I'm giving the floor to Zarrina. Zarrina, over to you. Thank you so much. А как слышно меня? Everything is good, yeah. Hello, everyone. How are you doing today? Okay. So, hello. My name is Zarrina Mirzo, and I'm very glad to have you all here and to present my presentation on CLIL, Integrating Language and Content in Education. And today we will explore how we can teach subject, it means content, and language together. Feel free to participate actively. This session is designed to be interactive, practical, and relevant. You can ask your questions in the chat box, or you can unmute yourself and then ask something. Okay? So... let's introduce you with today's webinars, what we will have in today's webinar. I will introduce you with the CLIL abbreviation. What is CLIL? Then the definition of it. We will go through the CLIL principles, then CLIL 4Cs, CLIL benefits, and then we will have a CLIL quiz together with you.
Then I will explain you how I use CLIL in my own experience, and then questions and answers. So CLIL stands for Content and Language Integrating Learning. As David Marsh in 2002, the founder of this approach, says, he refers it to situations where subjects or parts of subjects are taught through a language with dual focused aims, namely the learning of content and simultaneous learning of a foreign language. So it means that this approach is not only about language teaching or content teaching, but it is interlinked. So content, it means subject, any subject. It might be mathematics, physics, biology, or any other topics can be taken, and then through language teach this subject, or as to say, content. CLIL has its principles, and pay attention to the red keywords. It has three more principles. The first is language is used to learn as well as communicate. Then the subject or the content determines the language input. Then the focus is not only on language, not only on content, each is interlinked. Let's go through CLIL's 4 C's. CLIL has 4 C's. It means 4 letters starting with C. The first is content, then cognition, communication, and culture. Content means that what subject are you going to take, and what skills do you want to give your students through this content. Cognition, use a language to learn and then learning to use a language. Communication, development of thinking skills to process and produce knowledge. And culture, developing intercultural understanding and global citizenship. So CLIL has benefits. It improves language competence and oral communication skills. It provides authentic and motivating use of language. It promotes cognitive flexibility. Wait a minute. It introduces a wider cultural context. It prepares for future studies and working life, and it increases motivation and confidence in the language and subject. Zuhro, I'm sorry. We will have a quiz here. How can I see the participants' answers?
I think that the participants can start using our Zoom chat, and then we can see their answers in the chat. So, dear participants, read the questions and write your responses in the chat if you are joining us in Zoom, and in Facebook comments if you are watching us in Facebook. And I'll be copying your comments and send them here in Zoom so that our speaker Zarrina can then see them.
Okay, let's see. The first is, what does CLIL stand for? You can type your answers in the chat box, or you can unmute yourself and say the answer. Oh, well, yeah, I have one answer, Firuz Kakroev, content and language integrated learning. Well done, good. Bahti Begim, content and language integrated learning, good. Yes, that is right. Okay, let's go to second question. What does CLIL define? Do you remember David Marsh, 2002? What did dual focused educational? Yes, yes, that is right. So dual focused educational approach maybe. Dual, it means language and content, right? It is. Any other answers? Okay. Let's go to third one. Teaching science through language. Yes, absolutely right, Bahti Begim. Yes. Teaching science through language or any other subjects. Uh, third one. Complete the sentences. Language is used to L as well as C. What might it be? Okay, let's wait for others. Yes, Nasiba. Yes. So language is used to learn as well as communicate. That is right. Yeah. Let's go to B1. The S determines the language input. I think Firuz already answered it. No, it's not structure. So any other variant sentence? No, no. The S determines the language input. Yes, that is right. Subject or content. Content determines the language input, or subject determines the language input. Good. Let's go to C1. The focus is not only on language, but not only on content. Each is I and L. So the prompt is language and content together, they are IL. Okay, I can give you a prompt, inter L. Yes. Yes, Zuro, you're right. Interlinked. So language and content are interlinked. So it means that we cannot teach one without another. Oh, hello, Pamela from Argentina. We have a participant from Argentina. Welcome, Pamela. Okay, now let's go to question 4. What are the 4 C's in CLIL? Content, communication, cognition, and culture. Yes, these are our main 4 C's in CLIL. Now let's go to 5. How many CLIL benefits do you remember? Any other options? Any other variants? We have 5. We have 3 variants here: 5, 4, and 6. Let's go to. So this is the benefits. How many benefits can you see here? Yes. Okay. Now let's go to 6.1. Which verbs are mentioned in CLIL benefits? They were mentioned with red colors. Yes, Mehri, you're right. 6. Zuro, Firuz, Kakroev, yes, 6. And do you remember any of the verbs which were mentioned in benefits? Okay, to know, understand. Yes. Okay, I think we should go back to that slide and revise one more time. So the main verbs are improve. It means it improves language communication, then provides authentic and motivating use of language. Then it promotes cognitive flexibility, introduces a wider cultural context, prepares for future studies and working life, and then increases motivation and confidence. Yes, you were. Sadbarg. No, it was removed fast. Okay. Okay. So we finished this section, the section with quiz. Now let's see how I use CLIL in my. experience. First of all, you need to structure your lesson. The question is when I used CLIL approach. Every year, EWB announces a contest for teachers, EWB Innovative Teacher of the Year. And I read the requirements, and below you see the link for CLIL webinar, and in EWB's requirements, post was an advice to, or a recommendation to watch the CLIL webinar, which is the link I provided underneath. I watched this webinar and I got a lot of things about CLIL. A teacher, Mr. Joe, I think his name was Joe, he gave the step-by-step instructions how to structure CLIL lesson. And the first was to find source materials. Could you send the link? Okay, Zuhro will send the link to you, the message. Then the second, he said that teacher must establish content objectives, as well as teacher must establish language content as well. Then teacher needs to adapt text as needed, determine key vocabulary, develop tasks to help students understand the content, and then assess students' learning. Now we will see how I started to find source materials for CLIL demo lesson for the contest. This is actually the requirements of EWB announcement. So each teacher who is going to participate in contest, they will have 7 topics and they must choose one of them. And the green one which is number 3, I picked up this topic. So sustainable development, focus on environmental sustainability and the responsible use of resources for future generations. Hello, Rina Pamela. Hello. Then I chose mountain animals and legal hunting in Tajikistan. This is actually how my topic looks like. So I presented my topic to students in a picture of a map of Tajikistan, and as well, you see the mountain animals. Then, how did I establish content and language objectives? Again, everything you can find from internet. I just typed content objective verbs and language objective verbs in internet, and I got a picture of it. You see that content objective verbs, it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 columns. So for remembering, understanding, applying, analyzing, evaluating, and creating. And I choose one verb from each of these columns and then set them as my content objective. Then I went through language objective verbs. There are 4 skills like reading, writing, listening, and speaking. And again, I chose one verb from these columns and set them as an objective. Now I will show you how it looks like. So my content objectives are, you see the verbs are in green color. Students will memorize the new mountain animal words. Then students will classify mountain animals in groups. Students will choose the name for a mountain animal from a picture, and students will rank the mountain animals, and students will prepare oral presentation on mountain animals. These were the verbs which I chose from the content objective verbs from previous slide. Now, language objectives, as there were 4: reading, speaking, writing, and listening. Let's pay attention to verbs, objective verbs, which I choose for this. Students will read information about mountain animals and complete the table. And students will listen to an American tourist and answer the questions. And students will fill in the blanks with missing words. And then students will share oral presentation using present simple. Okay. Then I adapt the text as needed. It means that my students were starter level, and I adapted this text for their level to be more easier to understand. I just simplify it for them. Like snow leopards lives in cold. It's beautiful, fast, and dangerous. It eats Marco Polo, ibex, and markhor. And only 156 snow leopards live in Tajikistan. They are in Red Book of Tajikistan. By this means, I just simplified for my students. And etc. Marco Polo, golden eagle, wolf, markhor, and partridge. I did the same for the rest of mountain animals. I simplified all of this text. You can simplify, you can adapt the text by your own, or you can use AI to adapt your any text to your students' need or to their level. In this case, I did it myself. I didn't use AI. So determine key vocabulary. In previous slide, you saw text about mountain animals. And after that, I determined the key vocabulary. As you see, I determined them with words. So I find their names, then the transcription of them, and the picture also. So it makes visually attractive for students to learn to memorize the key vocabulary of the content. So the next was teacher must develop some tasks that to help students to understand the content. And I had a bunch of exercises. First, we learned the content vocabulary. Then we classified animals into groups, choosing between 2 options. There were 2 pictures of animals, and there was a question. What animal do you see in the picture? And there were 2 options. Students looking at the picture give full answer. Then we revised present simple. Why present simple? Because it's starter level, and the first tense is present simple. And we had it several lessons. And in CLIL, we just revised present simple. Then we read information about mountain animals. completed the table after reading. Then we had ranking tasks. We watched video with Legal Hunter and answering the questions. For writing, we had filling in the gaps with missing words. Then we studied the algorithmic approach to legal hunting procedures. And then students shared oral presentation at the end of the demo class. Okay, so how students must be assessed? During learning the language, you must assess the language or the content or both of them. It's up to teacher. In my case, I assessed both of them, language and content. Then, is your feedback formative or summative? It means how often did you go to your students and assess them or give them feedback in any tasks? And again, in my case, I use both of them, both in the beginning or during the lesson, and then at the end of the demo lesson, I had summative assessment too. And what will we ask students to do to demonstrate their knowledge? And you can ask them to work in pairs or in groups to make posters on the content, or you can ask them to share presentations, oral presentations, individually or in group again. It's up to you. How do you want to see the results of your teaching? Okay. And here we are back again to our 4 Cs. It's content, communication, cognition, culture. Now the question is to you, dear audience. The question is to you that you must tell me what was the content of my demo class, communication, what language or what language did I use to communicate, and for cognition, what tasks were designed, and what is the culture, what was the culture in my case, in my demo class. You can write in the chat box. Okay, dear audience, you can write your ideas in the chat box. What was the content of my demo class? Or how was 4Cs used in my demo class? Yes, Bahtibegi, you are right. The content was mountain animals. Yeah. And for communication, what we what did we do in communication? Yes, you are right that the content was mountain animals. Yes. And for communication, what did we do? Yes, Firuz. We discussed about different types of animals using English language. Yes, that is right. Good. And for cognition, what did we do for cognition, for comprehension? Let's say like this, comprehension. Yes, Rina, we classified animals, we describe them. Yes, that is right, Rina. We classified, we compared, we chose between, we described animals. Yes, that is right. And for number 4, culture. Yes, Nasiba. For culture, we talked about preserving or conservation of animals and their habitat in Tajikistan. Mhm. Let's see. Yes, Firuz. Showing culture of Tajikistan and introduced them to the others. Yes, in showing culture, it means that we used mountain animals and mountainous areas, their territory, and etc. Yes, that is right. Now let's see the answer. Yeah, protection of environment, animals and environment. That is right. Yeah. Yes. So the content was again, yeah, the content was mountain animals in Tajikistan and legal hunting. And for communication, we used English to talk about animals and hunting. For cognition, we used several comprehension tasks like classifying animals, comparing, analyzing the information, and etc. And for culture, yes, understand Tajik nature and animal protection. So, and I think that is all. Time
Okay.
for questions.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Zarina, for a really interesting presentation today. And now let's open the floor for questions and answers. So dear audience, please do not hesitate to unmute yourself and ask your questions directly to our speaker, or you can put your questions in the chat box or comment box on Facebook, and Zoro will make sure to pass those questions to our speaker. Okay, Zarina, we have a question here. Several questions are coming up from our participants. What are the often overlooked elements that teachers should consider when designing a CLIL lesson?
So usually CLIL is conducted by 2 teachers, by 2 instructors. One is which will be the content responsible, which must be responsible for content, and another for language. So in my case, I worked alone and I took the 2 functions on my own shoulders. And it was very, how to say, challenging for me first because I have never used CLIL. And I spent a lot of time to search for information first, what CLIL is itself, how it is used. I watched a lot of videos with teaching CLIL, how other teachers teach it to the class in the classrooms. And so mostly this one are the most challenging things.
Okay, we have next question from Bahti Begim. She's asking, if the teacher does not have the knowledge of the content but is great in language, how to deal in this situation?
Very interesting question. If the teacher doesn't have the he or she must work with other teacher who has the knowledge of the content or the subject. That is the best solution.
Okay, thank you. Next question. What are some signs that a CLIL lesson has truly achieved deep integration rather than just a surface level combination of content and language?
Wait a minute. Can you repeat your question, please?
Yes, of course. What are some signs that a CLIL lesson has truly achieved deep integration rather than just a surface level combination of content and a language?
Oh, to be honest, I don't know which subjects are. Which subjects CLIL is integrated. I don't know.
Okay. Zarina, from your own perspective, what are the benefits of using CLIL in teaching, and to what extent it is boosting students' overall language performance?
As we had the CLIL benefits, I noticed from my expertise that my students started speaking. They were encouraged to speak on the topic, on the content. I noticed that the communication skills improved. If in ordinary lesson they behaved differently, they were quiet or they were not encouraged to speak, but in CLIL lesson, they were more motivated and more confident to speak about the content, about animals. In my case, about animals.
And it probably also expanded students' outlook, yes? Not only on language use, but also on the content,
Yes, of course, because many of my students live in Tajikistan, but they didn't know that our nature has such a rare animals, especially markhors or Marco Polo or other species of rare animals. They even didn't know that they are in red list. So that was really interesting for them.
Okay, thank you so much. We have a couple of more questions. So, can this approach help students to succeed in other school subjects? Is asking Bahti Begim.
Yes, of course, as we said, or as I mentioned before, mostly CLIL is used in mathematics, physics, biology, science, and other subjects. Yes, they can be, it can be integrated with other subjects too.
Thank you. Next question is from Nata. Firuz, thank you very much for your comments. Zarrina, you can also just read the comments of Firuz. I think he's saying, I think depends on the teacher. If the teacher knows other subjects rather than English, they can integrate them. In Zarrina's case, teachers can integrate with the zoology. Yeah, to some extent, that's true. Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
sorry. I want to say here that in my case, it was not just my background knowledge about the mountain animals. I had a friend who was a hunter and who was very familiar with these kind of animals, and he helped me with this, with the content. He helped me a lot with the content.
Great, thank you. So next, Nadia from Georgia, she's asking, good evening. My question is, how realistic is to engage all the students while some have very low language level? And how can we equally involve all of them?
Again, in my experience, they were all in starter level. They were all in one level. And even if they are in one level, some of them are higher. Some of them have higher level. And I tried to mix them in groups, like in mixability groups. So a weaker student with more stronger student, and by this means the stronger helped the weaker with the content.
Okay, thank you. So yeah, dear all, if you have any more questions, please go ahead. We have a couple more questions. What tools or templates do you recommend for lesson planning?
Okay, for lesson planning, I didn't, okay. How did I plan my lesson? First, I make a presentation with objectives, with content, with tasks, and a lot of those stuff. And then after my presentation, I make a plan. So I didn't have special rubrics, but I had those verbs, like language objective verbs and content objective verbs. First, I set my goals, and then after the presentation, I planned the demo lesson.
Okay, thank you. So how do you deal with learner silence or fear of speaking?
In my case, in my demo lesson, I didn't have such situation like fearing of speaking or not speaking at all. All of them were involved, or individual activities or group activities or pair activities. They were involved in all tasks, in speaking tasks.
Okay, thank you so much. Firuz seemed to be very active in this webinar. He's also suggesting his own responses to the questions. Thank you, Firuz, for being active. What tools or templates do you recommend for lesson planning? He's also suggesting using Bloom's taxonomy to make lesson objectives, and also, to put, lesson goals, to make them really feasible, measurable, and achievable. Okay, so Nadia is asking, how do you assess students if you don't have rubrics?
I assessed my students both using formative and summative assessment. So rubrics, what rubrics do you mean? You mean it's out of summative and formative, Natya?
Natya, you can unmute yourself and clarify your question.
Well, hello again. Well, you mentioned that you didn't have rubrics. You didn't plan. You didn't have plan, like you had presentation and then later planned, and you didn't have rubrics. Maybe I misheard.
Yes, I didn't have rubrics, but I assessed my students using summative and formative assessment.
Like you mean you have like final tests or something, or what do you mean?
Okay, wait a minute. No, for summative, I asked my students to have oral presentations in groups. They gave, after finishing the demo lesson, I asked my students to observe, to wrap up everything from the beginning to the end, and then give an oral presentation. And then in groups, they went to the board and started to present orally. That was all orally.
Yeah, that's clear. They presented what they had, but you need to give feedback, right? About the work they have done. So how you do that?
I gave them feedback after their oral presentation. What was done, what was not done, what exercise, what information was missed, and in my case it was present simple, and how did they use present simple in their presentation, in their oral presentations. I just gave oral feedback.
So like their focus was present simple, like grammar while presenting, like not speaking, not content, grammar only.
No, you joined, maybe you joined the webinar.
Yeah, I joined later. That's why I
Yes,
have
you
questions.
missed.
Maybe you
Yes.
said already.
In the beginning, I showed everything, and we went step by step through all procedures, which I had in my demo class with CLIL.
No, I'm not asking about the procedure, how you started and how you finished. I'm very interested in the assessment part because CLIL takes really like a long time, few lessons or weeks maybe. You need to somehow assess, right, step by step, the process and the final result.
Yes, you are quite right. CLIL can be divided into several classes, or it can be conducted as a one mini class. In my case, it was 45 minutes CLIL lesson. And as a feedback, I give oral feedback to my students.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Okay, thank you so much, Zarrina. I guess teachers dwell into CLIL, from different levels. Some of the teachers go deeper into that. Some of the teachers just start using it, and therefore teachers have different strategies on how to integrate CLIL into their teaching practice. But anyway, as teachers, we have different experiences, and of course, exchange of ideas and exchange of experiences will will help us better understand and better integrate CLIL into our teaching practice. Okay, thank you so much, Nata. All right, so we have next question. So Bahtibim is asking, what is difficult teaching content or language?
Again, in my case, as it was, I think maybe it was interesting topic in my CLIL demo lesson. The content was easy for them, like learning the vocabulary, reading about the mountain animals, and giving them information about how legal hunting works. That was easy for them. And language, it was easy as their level is starter. And mostly we use present simple for sharing the information and giving the information and etc. And I don't think that I didn't experience any difficulties with the content or language.
Okay, thank you so much, Zarrina. So, yeah, dear all, if there are any last minute questions, please jump in. We'll just use a couple of more minutes to respond to your questions. Once again, thank you, dear all, for joining today's webinar. We really appreciate your time, your active engagement, and we are also expressing deepest gratitude to our speaker today, to Zarrina Mirzo, for her interesting presentation about the CLIL approach. And we believe that you you will be able to integrate CLIL into your lessons, and we'll explore what are other possibilities of integrating CLIL in teaching English. And of course, once again, thank you for your interesting questions. Wishing all of you to have a great evening, and see you next Thursday for a EWB Thursday webinar series, and tomorrow we have our speaking club at 5 p.m. Enjoy your family time now, and take away some good ideas and insights from today's webinar with you. Thank you so much. Have a great evening. And
thank you, dear audience, for joining this webinar, and thank you for your interesting questions. It was my pleasure to work with you. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye. Thank you.